Hello, blockers, and welcome back to Two Dice Block, where we are doing another preview, this time of round 8. Now, these are still a work in progress, so I'll be stopping during the video to just point out some things that we're looking to change. And if you want to provide some feedback of how we can improve this template, or what information you would like to be included in the future, that would be greatly appreciated, because the idea is I'd love these to become a round by round to give you all the information you need when entering a new round of the SSCBBL. So today, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover round 7, what happened in it, and give you the information that you need to know for round 8. We're also going to preview the game of the round that you'll be able to see later this week on Two Dice Block. So, without further ado, it's time to get into it. And we're going to start by having a look at round 7. So the round 7 results, there's a couple of important things here. The first is the top game on the list, the Ogres with Attitude versus the Friendly Skullcats. This was super important for establishing at the top 4, particularly for the Friendly Skullcats. Unfortunately, they've gone down to the Ogres with Attitude 2-0. So that is putting the Ogres with Attitude squarely, basically almost definitely in the first division. The Moortown Tyrants managed to just edge out Dave's Bulls hit, and that's great news for the Moortown Tyrants as well. The Dragons of yesterday managed to, after a series of draws, they've managed to get their win against the Butter and Brontos, and this was pretty important for the Dragons of yesterday as well. The Royale with Cheese managed to beat Orchestrated Death, and apparently I heard this was quite a close game actually, and it was quite important for Royal with Cheese to win this game in order to stay in that top 4 contention. Another super important game was the Tequila Slammers versus the Scaly Finks. This was important for both teams, as it would have catapulted Tequila Slammers up to the top and basically kept the Scaly Finks in 4th place, and he's managed to do it. So Scaly Finks have just won out in what was probably quite a tough match, and that's going to be very important, as we'll see, for the Scaly Finks. Sand, Salt and Tears and the Gatorades 1-1 draw. The Gatorades, I'm still keeping up their Chocolate Almond Sauce. The 300 versus the Noble Spirit. The 300 unfortunately did go down to the Noble Spirit 3-0. This was very important for the Noble Spirit as well, for their playoff division dreams, as well as they're trying to get into that top spot. This was also our game of the round, so if you want to catch it, you should be able to see it up on the Two Dice Block channel. If you want to see poor Black Orcs getting their armor broken all the time and just not being able to roll, rolling a million double skulls, which is pretty sad for the Black Orc coach. Fast and the Furious went down to the Abandoned Teddy Bears. Also an important game for both those coaches. Lizard Wizards drew with the Nightcrawlers, and Orbiting Death just got edged out by the Krakens, the Elven Union, and that was a very important game for the Krakens as well. So, as we discussed in the last round review, a lot of really important games, because it's a very, very close league at the moment. So, what does that mean? What is that going to make it look like? Let's go to the scoreboard, find out. Alright, so once again, as I said, we've got the Ogres with Attitude and the Abandoned Teddy Bears are squarely in 1st place. I believe the Ogres edged them out with just 1 or 2 extra TD difference. But they're basically untouchable. They're definitely in Division A. There's not really anyone who can... is there a way they get kicked out? I don't see there being a way that they can get kicked out. So they're squarely in Division A. For the other 2 teams, Royal with Cheese, after that very impressive win, they're in 2nd or 3rd, depending on how you look at it. They can be, I believe, edged out. I have to look at the TD again. Followed by the Scaly Finks. Okay, so that's looking like our A division right there. Might be some changes depending on what happens in the final round. I'm certainly hoping that something happens, because Noble Spirit, which is me, I'm still trying to just behind. Same with the Krakens. We're both fighting to get into that A division if we can. Don't really see it happening, but you never know. Something might go happen. The Royale with Cheese, the dice might explode or something, or Scaly Finks dice might explode. They just roll nothing but skulls. Dragons of Yesteryear following the Krakens, and Tequila Slammers. So you can see that Tequila Slammers, after that unfortunate loss to the Scaly Finks, that's dropped them a couple of spots. The Friendly Skullcats have dropped a spot or two as well. They would have been in a really strong position if they managed to knock out the Ogres with Attitude, but unfortunately. The Moortown Tyrants have managed to knock out the Fast and the Furious from the top 10. So we've got 2 Ogre teams doing incredibly well, which is crazy because they're a tier 3 team. The Fast and Furious down number 11. The Lizard Wizards just after them. And we've got the Nightcrawlers, Butter and Broncos, and Dave's Bulls Hit, all fighting there for that place. So they're all on 7. We've got Orbiting Death, followed by Sand, Salt and Tears, the 300, Orchestrated Death, and the unfortunate Gatorades at the bottom. Last time I saw them, like I said last week, they only had 2 Saurus left, just the chocolate armor. I don't know if you're watching this, Coach of the Gatorades, but I'm still rooting for Draco. That Lizard's a champion. So that's our scoreboard for at the end, and this was taken at the end of round 7. So I'm not sure if a match is being played yet, but that was the standings at that time. So lastly, let's jump into the matches for round 8. And here we have them. So still some important, this is going to be a really good one actually. Tequila Slammers versus Friendly Skullcats. That's going to be, oh, I'd love to watch that game. It's going to be a great one. Royal with Cheese versus Dave's Bulls Hit. Oh, sorry, had to run off for a second and pause the recording. But we're back. So, Dragons of Yesteryear versus Butter and Broncos. We got the Scaly Finks versus Orchestrated Death, and Orchestrated Death, if you could defeat the Scaly Finks, that would be awesome for me. Moortown Tyrants versus the 300. We have the Sand, Salt and Tears versus the Krakens. Gatorades versus Noble Spirit. Really looking forward to this game, just mainly because I've only talked to the coach a couple of times, but he seems like a really nice guy, and I think we'll have a really fun game. And our game of the round is the Nightcrawlers versus the Abandoned Teddy Bears, and I'll be previewing that very shortly, straight after this. Lizard Wizards versus the Ogre Achievers, and Orbiting Death versus the Fast and the Furious. So that's our round 8 matches. I'm going to go now and do preview our game of the round that you can catch on this channel later this week. But if you're not planning on watching that or want to catch it some other time, you're free to jump off now. I will just ask that I'm hoping to do these previews, like I said, roundly. Any feedback or any additional information that you'd like me to include in them, please let me know. Normally we'll have Steve and Luke here to help me out, but they're just a bit busy tonight. Forgot to mention that. But yeah, let me know if you like these and what else you would like us to do. We'll check out the feedback. Alright, so let's check out our game of the round. We've got the Nightcrawlers versus the Abandoned Teddy Bears. And these images, same as last week, they're just placeholder for now. Just gonna change that very quickly. There we are, game of round 8. These images are placeholders, and ideally we'd like to have the actual images of people's actual teams. Would be great to have here. So we've got the Nightcrawlers, which are Shambling Undead, versus the Abandoned Teddy Bears, which are Underworld Alliance. Alright, firstly the Nightcrawlers, because we've got quite a solid team here. 2 mummies. Havgard, this was a first pick for him. I think it was a great pick. I thought it was a great pick then. I still think it's a great pick. One of the mummies has finally got save up and got block. This is beautiful. And the second mummy's on its way to doing this. This is great. These 2 will be really good pieces. One of the whites is out. That's very unfortunate. It wasn't the leveled up white, but losing a white is not great. The other one does have strip ball. This guy really wants to have tackle. Strip ball tackle would really let him chase down that gutter runner. 2 ghoul runners with blodge. Very solid, very dependable, very dynamic pieces that can do a lot. These guys would be great. And then a ton of skeleton linemen and zombies. Probably going to send some fouling in there. Shouldn't really have trouble fielding players. So Now, I think this is a great team. I think it's a really solid team. I think it's only starting to pick up its stride now. I would love to see this team redrafted. I think this team next season, and he only has to redraft a couple of players, right? Like the two mummies, the two ghouls, maybe a white, right? If he wants to, although you could probably start with two new whites and it'd still be pretty strong. And it wouldn't even be that expensive because they've only got one skill each. So I think this is well on its way to becoming a really strong, good team. It's probably just had a bit of a slow start. I've got 2 rerolls, 1 fan. Yeah, it's just solid. Okay, not much to say about this. Straightforward picks from all the players and really solid skill choice. And they got a couple of, they're one good game away from getting a few more, like a bunch of level ups too. So maybe this will be that game. On the other side, we've got the abandoned teddy bears, and there's a lot going on in this team. I had to actually shrink down, and I'll get rid of this support roster here just so we can see this. I had to shrink down this just to be able to fit in everything because there's a lot going on. And we've got almost a full 16. There is a 14 missing. I think he might have died last game, but he does have his whole team here, no MNGs, which is interesting for undead. Usually they take a ton of casualties, but he's managed to keep them all in there. And if we look at the skill choices, I'm just going to say, I believe all of the skills are random skills, and this is an example of a team where random skills can work really well, and I'll go through why. So we've got Cuddles, the Skaven Thrower, and he's a Skaven Thrower, but he's got Animosity, he's got Kick, and Extra Arms. These are 2 great skills to have on him, okay? They're good, they're going to help him handle the ball, and they're going to help him, just having Kick is a good, good skill to have. This Gutter Runner has Big Hands, Monstrous Mouth. I've actually forgot to check beforehand what that does, so I'm not quite sure of its relevance. I don't think it's great for the Gutter Runner, but Extra Arms, Horns, and 2 heads are insane. And Big Hand, those are insane. This guy is going to be able to get the ball anywhere, move anywhere. 2 heads and dodge on a Gutter Runner is nuts. He can dodge anywhere he wants. Horns is actually is good on a Gutter Runner for when you want him to attack. So this, as a blitzer, because he's so fast and so dodgy, you could just potentially cage dive with this guy. You give him strip ball and this Horns is nuts. So this Gutter Runner is great. I think it's one of the things that's made Underworld just much better than they used to be, because they used to be this, but they didn't get a Gutter Runner, and they really want a Gutter Runner. You got Skaven Blitzer here, Fuzzball. Not so great rolls on the randoms, long legs, pretty much useless for a Skaven Blitzer. Foul Appearance ain't too bad. But you got to remember that the random rolls are cheaper in terms of TV than than picking it. So even though he's got a couple extra skills, these players are still really good for the price point. Particularly this Gutter Runner. He's incredibly cheap for what he's got. Same with the Troll. Strong Arm, Grab. They're 2 good skills to have on the Troll. But Strong Arm's going to help him throw, which he's probably going to do a lot of on this team. And Grab's not a bad skill. Ideally, you'd want Brawler or Guard, but Grab's not bad. Grab's not bad. And once again, he's going to be quite cheap for what he's able to do. Clan Rats with Claws. Yep, that's gonna be useful. They're gonna punch things. It's gonna help them, particularly against like the Ogre teams and the Orc teams and what else is going on here. So this Claw is actually it's gonna be useful, and the Clan Rat is still super cheap. Then we got a bunch of Snotlings and a bunch of Goblins. Snotlings do Snotling things. The Goblins do Goblin things. He's picked up an extra Clan Rat. I think this guy's just new. Probably one of them died earlier and he's replaced them. And yeah, so a lot of crazy players here, Fuzzball and Twinkie and Snuggles. I don't know if he's going to be snuggling people very much with this big huge hands. So yeah, a ton of money, and still getting petty cash because all his players are so cheap. Because he's lower CTV. He can, fork out a bit of treasure to get something, or buy whatever. I think he likes to buy the Giant if he can. So yeah, really strong team, I think, particularly for its CTV is quite strong. Having a look at the support services, 2 team rerolls, ton of fans. He's got the Apothecary to keep his Gutter Runner and whatever else he wants alive. This is gonna be a tricky matchup for the undead, so it'd be a good match. It's going to be a good match to watch, see if the undead can deal with some of these really nutso players that we got going on here. And you should be able to catch this game on the 2 Dice Block channel in the, I believe, next Saturday. Though don't quote me on that, I have to consult with Luke. Otherwise, that brings us to the end of our round 8 breakdown. Once again, if you have any feedback you'd like to leave, anything you like about the video, you want to continue, or anything you want me to add, please let me know, because I'm hoping to do these a lot more in the future. So until then, I'll see you on the pitch.